39.
You're muted, Curtis.
Okay. If even scars inflicted by meaningless enemies are worn upon the body like ornaments, then why is suffering a cause of harm to me who impeccably strives to fulfill the great purpose?
Do you have a scarf any place, your body? Someone give you?
Of course,
Right
everywhere.
there.
Oh, really?
I
And,
told you, I knew somebody would show us.
All right, just someone hit you. I mean,
Well, you asked for a scar, I gave you one. No, it's, I think it's something men do more than women. But, you know, we kind of do brag about our scars sometimes. But so if we suffer a little bit,
but then you show the people to say, okay, I have this because I did. I'm winner. I'm courage.
yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes scars are a testament to stupidity, ignorance.
Jason should be here for this conversation.
Who is should be here?
Jason?
Who is Jason? Oh, I see. I see. Who is in the Afghanistan? You mean? I don't know. He has something. So when we was kids, like something have to show in the front, not behind here. So if you have something here, is people think, oh, terrible. You are not weak up, not strong, because you run away. You know that's why people hit it behind. If here front is great. You are courageous, so you didn't run away. You know, you just directly like against the enemy, fighting. So if you have something behind there, people hide, they don't show. They usually who has front somewhere here and then they shows. So that's people does. Shantideva said, this crazy kids, immature people does like that. He said that is not important, but thinking about so important. So we can do some more better than that, more important. So what is we can do more better than that?
Well, we can look at our sufferings that sometimes purify us as things that help us on to the great purpose.
Suffering for what?
Well, if we have to suffer cold, you know, or we don't get enough food, rather than letting it bother us, we can let it be an austerity.
So you mean the like hunger, thirsty, cold, heat, the suffering for doing for bodily activity, or?
Yeah, let them be austerities that we embrace rather than sufferings that we feel bad about.
So that's correct, Thomas.
Yeah, Tom, and help me out, Thomas.
You're doing fine, Curtis. You don't need my help. You're doing fine. No, that's right, Curtis. I mean, those things that are that we suffer from, it can be useful to us. That we don't have to use them and see them as also suffering, but you can see them as tools, or as if you're Bodhisattva, you use those things as a source of strength, rather than seeing them as suffering.
I think that can go for, like, especially in the Western world, more emotional, psychological kind of suffering. And you see a difference in people that use it to become stronger and leave it behind and then people that get absorbed in it and use and wear it like a badge as a victim.
Well said.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a more thinking about the like Shantidhyami, important is practice Dharma, thinking about the liberate, then you get the suffering. So that suffering is useful. Other suffering is suffering, not any useful. So that's why samsaric beings suffering is not useful. We have to think about this only spiritual for journey, practice. During that time, whatever suffering we have is why is the suffering is cause of harm to me. That suffering never harm to me. That suffering purifying karma and take into the path. So other like this first two sentences, suffering is suffering, no use for suffering. So this last two sentences is the practitioners who impeccably strive to fulfill the greater purpose. This is like never thinking before in the Western culture actually, because not thinking about the liberation. Who don't think about the liberation, then they didn't think about this way. So who practice the Dharma, who wanted to liberation, then that person think this way. Make sense or no? Yeah. So this words is like, it's only for practitioners. You think the difficulty is carry, take to the path. Ordinary people don't have this kind of thinking. That's why this information does not exist in the ordinary like kind of worldly activity. This words is not exist in there. Okay, so now everyone has anyone question? Understand clearly, right? Okay, so now we go to the 40. 40 is EDG. Please read 40.
I knew you were going to call on me. Okay. If fishermen, hunters, and farmers, thinking merely of their own livelihood, endure the sufferings of heat and cold, why am I not patient for the sake of the world's joy?
Explain.
Patient. Well, patient is the key word here. I'm trying to see what my notes say. Oh. The sake of the world's joy. Oh, okay. It appears that the you know, it's joy, you know, having food to eat and stuff. You know, the farmers, hunters, and fishermen all suffering to provide their livelihood is really, in some cases, I guess, is providing for the subsistence of not only themselves but other people. But it's not really addressing the real problems that linger within.
Okay, so Senda, can you have more something information?
I think it's just to be willing to suffer and work for the benefit of other beings. So to work for your own enlightenment so that you can help all the world. is worth whatever effort it takes. And if you compare it to the suffering regular people go through for their jobs, which doesn't really benefit people that much,
Right.
it's short-term, small amount of benefit, but people suffer in their work all the time. Their jobs are hard in all kinds of ways.
Right.
So if you look at it like that, if you look at like your life is, you put effort into things, how about put it into something meaningful?
Mm. So we're working for all the other beings. That's the reason we need patience. Someone doing their own benefit, like temporary, they put too much effort. Then Shantideva said, we are Bodhisattva, Bodhisattva, we have to work hard. We need more patience. We need to work hard, right? Yes. So what do you think this sentence, words, Mary, make sense for you?
Yes, it does. I mean, you're trying to save the world here. You're trying to make everybody happy, not just your family.
Mm.
If you're on the Bodhisattva path, that's the plan, right?
Yeah, that's why I have to work hard, right?
Yep.
See, Buddha, he tried to discover the absolute truth. He had to give up, and he meditated 6 years and under the tree, no eating. So he worked hard 24 hours all the time.
Yep. Way harder than me.
Then that has become useful.
I think the other piece that is in that stanza as well is that farmers and hunters and fishermen have a lot of patience just in their ordinary life. You put seeds in the ground, you have to wait till the fall. If you live in the north, you have to wait till the ice disappears before you can go fishing. If you are hunting, you may have to have the patience for a few days before you'll actually find some meat. And so even in their ordinary lives, and even that they're looking out for their own needs, they already have a lot of patience. So shouldn't we as bodhisattvas have even more patience for wanting the joy in the world?
Yes. Fishing means work very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're really hard, work really hard. When I was in Hawaii, the fisherman is like go into the water and like it's just so much only himself like catch the fish, like stay and too long. It's really suffering there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about it. He can find some better job, something to do.
Mm-hmm.
So then they don't recognize that because due to their obstacle, karma. The hunters seeking food. So I don't know here is nothing lots in US. Just mostly people fun the hunters, right? Just killing the animals. But used to like ancient times, people hunt for food, and they work so hard. Then farmers and locations work so hard. So they're only thinking merely of their own livelihood. They only just benefit their own food. That's it. Even they work so hard, the only result is they only just get their food. That not much than that. So then they endure the sufferings of heat and the cold. So why I am not patient for the sake of world's joy? If you read that, you get courage to practice Dharma. You recognize other beings suffering. So comes compassion to others. Each word we have to this actually cultivate, have to think about a lot of meanings in the change life in these words. So we also recognize sometimes we're doing lots of meaningless things. Sometimes like we don't see the no meaningless. Work so hard, put so much effort, not thinking about which kind of result get. So now also look to our these generations work so hard to go to school. So when it's the just kids, like then you have to study, like all the way, like no time to eat, no time to be with the parents. Parents put so much effort. They're saying that the school. Some say this result is like some people nothing get, nothing. So we worry so much, like sometimes, oh, grade is so bad. Parents is so worried about that. So then think about it, like the one shooter comes, they shoot all these young people in the bars. They not yet get a job, they already graduated. So think about it, go back to all the way to like childhood to undergraduate, the work with what benefits. Just life is like 1 second gone. So see, the no time to eat breakfast slowly, or the way kids time to grow up until like either ready to get job, so then accidentally someone take the life, lost. So that's kind of suffering people. And then of course, like some get jobs, like work so hard, we work so hard. So think about whole life is put effort is for food and clothes. That's it, livelihood. So we come in the world is like life is working for, life is not, what is we call usually they have words to say living is work, right? People say work is not for living, living is for work. Yes. So those like we come in the world is like just sacrifice ourselves, like study, graduate, work, retired. It's gone after that. So that's all it's called the livelihood, their own livelihood. Endure the suffering of heat and cold. So we always suffering. This give you like whole our life situation informations. Everyone's life, except Bodhisattvas. So then Bodhisattvas, the last sentence, why am I not patient for the sake of the world's joy? Then Bodhisattva has put patience practice. They also work so hard. That work is different. It's for useful, meaningful, and benefit others. So all these worldly beings, first, second, third, this sentence, these three sentences, whole information is our life is the all the world beings. So you read these words, if like you have memorized, you see, oh, I'm doing incorrect jobs doing, so you can change. Even like change like some worldly things also more meaningful, not just useless causes of suffering. Okay, so that's give you so much information. The verses, change life, change life. We call this sentence as change life. And then 41. Mary, please go to 41.
When I promised to liberate all those beings dwelling in the 10 directions as far as the ends of space from their disturbing conceptions, I myself was not yet freed of mine.
Yeah, please give information.
He's saying, what was I thinking? When I would free everybody and I hadn't freed myself, what in the world was I thinking? But
Promise.
what?
What your promise?
To promise to liberate all beings
Okay.
in all the 10 directions as far as the end of space,
Uh,
even though you don't even know what it means to liberate yourself, is a big promise to keep.
yes. So you cannot say, Shantideva say, we promise is so big, action is zero. they don't do that way, right?
Well, the next one says says that, you know. What was wrong with me?
Yeah.
But
You can have this big promise, but then not action is still in the zero.
I did what?
We cannot stand no actions, like, must have
Yes.
to something engaging.
Yes. If you're going to make the promise, you got to do it.
Yeah. So like example, you say you're going to get a PhD degree. So you promise your parents, and then you not really apply, and then you're not going to take class. Then what going on?
Never.
So you promise, maybe already pay the money, whatever tuitions already pay in the school, then no going to class, no doing anything, no actions, no taking class.
Not me. Never.
So then that is a mistake, right? Wrong.
That's wrong. Yes. Very
Yes.
wrong.
They will say your promise is big, already did. So no, you have to do practice. Otherwise, you cannot get PhD degree, you cannot teach anyone, you cannot benefit anyone, and cannot benefit yourself. So like that, if we promise, we say we're going to benefit all these beings, but actually we are stuck in samsara. We don't benefit our own.
That's, you sort of have to liberate yourself before you can liberate anybody else, I think.
Yeah, so example, like say, I'm going to rescue all who are in the ocean, jump to the ocean, swims, who's in the sinking in the water, I'm going to rescue them. But then you don't know how to swim. So you don't learn the swim, right?
Right.
So you have to, first you have to promise, then you have to learn the swim, how to swim, then you can help them. So Shantideva said, your promise is great, but you have to do. Otherwise, if you don't learn to swim, you jump the water, you die. You cannot reach anyone, you die there yourself. That is I myself was not yet free from mine. Okay, so now next pen, please. 42.
Yes. Before that, though, I'm with 41. The promise is vast, inconceivable.
Yes.
And so it takes also this kind of even letting go of it, or, I don't know. I'm just struck by how huge it is.
Yeah, the Bodhisattva means courage. You need huge.
Yeah.
It's take that promise is okay. But then you can't do or not. You have to take the promise, then you have to just put engaging.
Yeah.
So like I say, I'm wanted to be swimming pool guide, right? Swimming pool guide. So I promise who's swim, who going to sinking in the swimming pool, and I'm going to rescue them. So you have to promise that. Otherwise, say I am going to guide swimming pool. I can rescue only someone, not everyone. So then you cannot get that job. So Bodhisattva need to promise, I'm going to have all these beings. Otherwise, you cannot get the job, Bodhisattva. No bias, right?
What was that?
No, so you say, I'm going to have these people, I'm not going to have these people. Then that means you have bias, like not yet Bodhisattva's intention mind.
Yeah.
So we are going to swim for God. We say, I'm going to rescue everyone who's going to sink in here. Anyone. Okay, so then that is the guide is like promise. And then first, if they promise, then they have to know the swim. They have to do that first, how to rescue the people, someone in the sinking in the water, right?
Yes.
If they promise, but they don't do anything, they don't know how to do that, then they comes to just watch the people, doesn't do anything. Then if they jump, they die there because they don't know how to rescue. So
Yeah.
that's this, and this one is a Shanti Deva say, we have promise, that's great, but no, you have to do, put effort.
So we have the book. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I reached a conclusion as we were going through it, earlier this morning. This is what I wrote down for myself. So we cannot totally help others unless we concurrently develop ourselves.
Yes.
And that, in short words, we can only help people in accordance with our current abilities.
Yeah, so we can have our abilities, but we have to work hard to get, mean the practice, have to bodhicitta practice, we have to work hard.
I thought that I thought that we work harder for other people than we work for ourselves a lot. Like, how you might just kind of decide to take it easy. You might have a goal for yourself, but you might be like, I'll do that later. I'm just going to rest right now or have a cup of tea or something. But if somebody else needs you, you show up and you do whatever it is they need. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Like, I almost think that this motivation is just designed to make us work hard. Even so we can achieve our own result. Like, without thinking about other people, we probably wouldn't work hard for ourselves. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
The thinking about others and like we are work hard.
Yeah, and I thought of this too, Sandy. Like that is an incentive. This is our incentive. We've made this big promise to help all these other people, and we better get on it. So this is a big incentive.
And if it was just for ourselves, it wouldn't work. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's thinking about the thing want to benefit this or others, then Bodhisattvas have this put effort to themselves. If you don't think others wanted to help them, then they don't put effort. So exactly just same thing. Like I'll give an example, the job. So the job needed to help someone, so you try to get the training. So that's of course helps you. Otherwise, if you don't have a training, you're also going the same with other people. So you focus, I wanted to help these people, and you get training. The training is become your protection.
Yeah.
Why we get the training is I want to help these people. That's why I get these trainings, doing things, actions. Okay,
Also,
so Pam, please read the 42. First we go that one, then more after we can talk, yeah.
Okay. Thus, unaware of even my own capacity. Oh, wait a minute. You did that one, I'm doing 43, right?
Yes.
43. And to do this will be my sole obsession. Holding a strong grudge, I shall meet them in battle.
No, it's 42, 42.
Okay. Thus, unaware of even my own capacity, was it not somewhat crazy to have spoken like that? But as this is so, I must never withdraw from vanquishing my disturbing conceptions.
Mm.
So yeah, it was a huge, crazy commitment, but that just means I got to work really hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then the main point Shantideva said, you have promise, big promise.
Yeah.
So then don't give up. So if you think, oh, I did a big promise, I did a mistake, I want to give up. So that is wrong.
Yeah.
So promise is the Shantideva say great. No, don't give up. Otherwise you are crazy. So, but as this is so, must never withdraw from vanquishing my disturbing conceptions. Until subdued our emotions, don't give up effort. So that don't give up effort until achievement, result. So same thing, like see we go to like score and say I wanted to get master degree or PhD degree, whatever degree you're going to get, you just promise and then you give up the class. Then it's crazy, right? So that is like only benefit this life. But this one is like taking care of all the future life. That's why I have to work harder. Shantideva said, don't give up. Yes, Kate said, what do you want to say?
If I think of what I think I can do is in many ways what my ego is comfortable with, what it imagines, it doesn't have to suffer very much. When I really aspire for something, I'm going to have to leave my ego behind. My conception of what's possible is being far exceeded. So aspiration is in some ways about letting go of our small conception of ourselves and what we're capable of.
Okay, so anyone has any questions there?
I just have a comment. It's something that keeps coming back to me. I mean, we don't, there's 10 levels. There's 10 Bodhisattva levels. I mean, we're not starting out, we're not making one fell swoop to go from an ordinary being to level 10 at Bodhisattva. I mean, there's steps. We got to progress. We can't jump from one extreme to the other, right? It's a developmental process. It's not one fell swoop.
Yeah, this, yes, a developmental state, yes.
Kempo, I was wondering if the original Tibetan language has any different translation for the first two lines of 42. For example, when he says, unaware of even my own capacity, he's unaware, when he took the vow, he was unaware of his full Buddha nature. And therefore, that's why it's crazy to have spoken like that. I'm just curious if there's other translations.
So you mean other translator has a different meaning?
Sorry, my internet connection jumped out. I was just wondering if the original Tibetan has a different nuance of translation.
I really don't know the translations like great or not, because I don't have enough the English like capacity or level to checking the translation great or not.
I wonder, I think when they talk about capacity, it's not Buddha nature. I think it's our mundane capacity, our everyday, today capacity in the
Or,
relative level.
or you're talking about this capacity, own capacity is talking about my own Buddha nature, you mean?
I think that was the question.
Mm.
No,
I have a
no.
couple of answers, actually. The Padmakara version refers to it as madman's words. Crazy, madman, they're pretty strong words. And as far as the translation goes, the Padmakara introduction, I think, no, note on translation, it actually refers to Stephen Batchelor's translation. So they considered it worth mentioning. I think it has a good reputation.
So this capacity is not talking about the Buddha nature. So then this is if the thinking about Buddha nature, this not make sense anything.
Mhm.
So this one not talking about Buddha nature. The Buddha nature, my own capacity is Buddha nature. Then everyone is the same. So capacity means different levels. Buddha nature means all the same. So this capacity is bodhicitta capacity. Like we have so many levels of bodhisattvas capacity.
You could even put current capacity, unaware of even my current capacity. It's about my current limitations, not my ultimate capacity.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so then we go to 34, 43. 43, Aminda, please, 43.
And to do this will be my sole obsession. Holding a strong grudge, I shall meet them in battle. But disturbing conceptions such as these destroy disturbing conceptions and, for the time being, are not to be abandoned. So my understanding is that you use the positive emotions to destroy the negative emotions. So you make a very strong commitment to get rid of these emotions, to liberate them. So it's okay in the beginning to attach to your positive Dharma practice, and then later as we progress, then you don't want to have attachments, positive or negative.
Yes.
And then you told us Simpa, purifying obscurations and bodhicitta qualities are successful and courageous, to define bodhicitta. Am I leaving anything out? I probably am.
I think you did very good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So we have to use the positive ego, positive emotions. So reduce the negativity. Have to meet and fight together. I shall meet them in better. So then positive can destroy negativity. The positive is you can keep sometimes not to be abandoned. So beginners, we have to keep the positive attachment or positive things. So you can attach to positive things. Okay, so everyone is very quiet. That is like, you did a good job, Amanda. That's why everyone is quiet.
Well, thank you. I think you did the good job, Kimpo.
Debbie, please, the 44.
Uh, 44.
Yes.
It would be better for me to be burned, to have my head cut off, and to be killed, rather than ever bowing down to those ever-present disturbing conceptions.
Wow, that's really courage, Bodhisattva.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is talking about never giving up bodhicitta at the risk of cost of your life.
Yeah.
Never letting go, and to have the courage to do that.
Right.
No matter what. And I think that you said, Kempo, that the first Bhumis practice this. This is a practice of the first Bhumis. But right now, I think as Ed was saying, we can make the wish to have, but we can strengthen that, those imprints in our mind by wishing to be working towards never giving up bodhicitta, even in the face of death.
Right. Okay, so great. Anyone has the comments, questions?
Yeah, I had a question on that one. And I was keying on the ever-present disturbing conceptions, which means there's some stuff that is really so strong it's hard to work with. So are there stronger practices that can help you focus on a specific internal problem?
So you mean which one?
Well, to those ever-present disturbing conceptions. Ever-present means it's really hard to get rid of. So is there a strong, or there's times when a stronger practice might be beneficial? Is there such a thing?
I would, if I can say, I was thinking that I know I've heard this sometimes by the teachers, but there is no stronger practice than bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is our ultimate protection. So by just practicing bodhicitta and maintaining that wish to benefit all beings to reach enlightenment, there is no greater practice than that.
Yes, so that's there's a bodhicitta only can this is subdued emotions.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. Yeah.
Overcome to this disturbing conceptions.
Now that you mention it, I was in the same class as you when those words were spoken.
Well, yeah, I was going to say those words didn't come from me. That was from Kempo and
Right.
and Garchen Rinpoche. He's always.
Okay.
So we said here is like when you have something negative, we have to use positive attachment or something positive. So what do you use? Anyone has any method? Amanda, what do you use? You use negative, use some positive attachment or something,
Oh, I love my Dharma practice. I think I'm really attached to it. So is that an answer? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really love it. If life gets busy and I don't spend much time on it, it makes a big difference. I can tell it right away.
What method you use?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Oh, I said Debbie.
Okay, sorry.
What do I use to diminish negative emotions?
Yeah, use positive.
Oh, okay. Use a positive to diminish negative emotions.
You can attach to positive, you can attach to positive and reduce negativity.
Oh, yeah. Mine is working for the Dharma Center.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, Avira, what do you do?
I'm not sure about what the question is, but thinking on Debbie's answer, I will say I'll give something. I'll just give something, food, or I'll let go of something or create something to give to everyone.
Oh, for the sangha, that is the you doing cooking. But you can be attached to cook to feed the sangha.
Yes, I know. You already taught me that.
Yeah,
Don't
so,
worry.
I mean, this
You taught me that. You said that once, and it really stuck to me. So I'm aware of that. Thank you, Kempo. Yes.
Okay.
I know.
So what is Maryland you do?
As I'm working to set up the center, focusing on the kindness and generosity of others and community coming together to build that.
You are attached to that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the temporary attach is great, but then when you get high level, cannot be attached, right?
Yeah, because then if somebody does the opposite, then you get upset if they're being a problem. So, yeah.
No, I mean like when you have a high level practitioners, then don't attach means, example, when you cross the ocean, you need a boat. So you can attach to the boat. You already cross, you cannot attach to boat. Otherwise, the boat you have to carry in your head is more suffering.
Okay.
Yeah. What, Thomas, you do?
I would leave the boat for somebody else to use.
What is?
You just said about the boat, using the boat to cross the ocean. I would say I would leave that boat for somebody else to use because I already used it. But
okay,
every day I try to humble myself, try to be the best person I can to other people, because that's all I can do every day. Because I don't know, tomorrow is not promised. So since tomorrow is not promised, I try to do the best I can for today.
What is Alita?
I think for me as well, I'm attached to my Dharma practice, but I'm also a teacher. And so my Dharma is also helping children and working with them. And often when there's conflict or trouble, what I do is I get angry, but then what I do is I look at the other person to see what do they need, what is their suffering, and then that softens my anger. So focusing on the other person and helps me to bring the negative emotions down.
Good. Ali, Gordon?
Yes. I mean, I work with, I get up every morning and practice, and that kind of sets the foundation. But what really helps is really attached to the idiom practice that I do. And what it does is it increases my sense of humility and that it's not me and not to take anything personally. So it helps me to work with my own afflictive emotions so I can help other people work with their afflictive emotions.
David.
Yeah, but me?
Yes.
Okay, let me see. I like to help others. Sometimes, like throw the
something like your positive like kind of how to say the habits.
Habit?
Yeah, positive habits to reduce some negativity.
That's a difficult question.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
With the drum?
Huh?
You beat
Oh,
the drum.
I like that one. Now I use it more because Vita's over there, you know.
Do something like you.
Yeah. Right here. I have it. Hey, Vita, look. Yeah.
I think he goes walking. He goes walking.
Yeah. Attachment. Sometimes you know, be at the center and help others and provide support to others. Sometimes you can attach to that, and you have to be careful. But it's something that I like to do, and I feel comfortable doing that.
Okay, so anyone, like, this question is for everyone. Anyone can give an answer. Anyone do something like you have a negativity, so you have something like habit is already positive, reduce the negativity. So attach to the positivity.
For me, when afflictive emotions arise, I sometimes remember to notice it in my body, and it's usually something hot and tight, and then that starts to loosen it up.
So which is you attach to something positive to reduce that negativity?
Maybe it's well, I don't know. No, I had one idea. That's not it.
Teaching, listening, Dharma teaching.
Well, yeah, sure.
Something you attach to like positive, I like to do. So example, I like to go to walking meditation and I like to do, I attach to that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I guess study. Yeah. And a meditation practice and the 37 practices. I mean, there's just a lot. I mean, we're so fortunate. There's a lot.
Yeah, something like, you know, you really attach already something positive to, you cannot stop that. You want do that, helps you reduce your negativity.
And bike riding. Riding my bike.
Bike riding is a positive Dharma practice.
No, but it does help.
Okay. Oh, what do you do, Sandra?
I'm sorry, what?
What do you do? Some reduce your negativity, something that you really cannot stop, attached to some positivity.
You know, the same as other people. Working on the Dharma Center is a big one.
Okay.
I walk my dog every day and I say mantras while I do that. And sometimes someone wants to come with me and then I miss my mantras, you know, then there's a conversation. So yeah, I guess I'm attached to that, you know.
Okay. Okay, so now that's good.
So one thing that I like to do is when I'm feeling really angry is I'll recite mantras, and I find that really helpful. So.
One time Alita told me she uses her prayer wheel. She thinks like she can really feel this shift things, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I paid attention to that. I hadn't really noticed that. It's really cool. Yes.
Yeah, so something like example, attached to positivity. So someone like say, okay, really wanted to take care of Dharma Center, it's like to do and cannot give up. That is attached to Dharma Center is a positive attachment. So that reduce the negativity, like introduce to the negativity attachment, ordinary home, taking care. Okay, so now we go to the next one. Which one is we 40? Okay, this 45. 45. So one.
I think it's 44, isn't it? Did we do 44?
44. You did.
Oh, I did 44. Oh, geez. That's not a good sign.
Someone, can you read 45?
Yes, Kamala. Common enemies, when expelled from one country, simply retire and settle down in another. Though when their strength is recovered, they then return. but the way of this enemy, my disturbing conceptions, is not similar in this respect.
Yes, can you explain?
I was absent again.
Okay.
Sorry.
Linda, please explain.
It's just, I think it means that our disturbing emotions, if we can conquer them, it's an enemy that will not return, you know, versus enemies from one country to another. You know, they might they might leave you, they might, you know, lose a battle and come back and fight you again. But in this case, if you can overcome the enemy of your negative emotions, they will be vanquished forever.
That's great. Thank you. So that means that the negative emotions more easy than actually ordinary enemies some ways, right? That's just only one example. The main point is that if you release your negative emotions, not coming back, purify, and other is like ordinary animals can be come back again because of like follow the like generation and the generations. So in US is great. Actually, people moving everywhere. They don't have like stay one place. But some other country used to like always the same village all the time, and then there's just generation enemies kept there. So you winner one generation, you lose another generation. Like you can win others, like you can lose others. Like that. So enemy you subdued, not come back again.
Bo, I have a question.
Yes.
With the disturbing conceptions, if you don't cut at the root of self-clinging, don't they come back?
They come back. This 46 means like wisdom purifying. So if you purify this way, you know, reduce, like cut, remove 100% in the root, they're not coming back again. So can you read the 46, please?
Deluded, disturbing conceptions, when forsaken by the eye of wisdom and dispelled from my mind, where will you go? Where will you dwell in order to be able to injure me again later? Weak-minded, I have been reduced to making no effort.
Okay, so can you explain?
Well, once the emotions have dissolved, they can't dwell anywhere. They have nowhere to dwell because they have no dwelling place, unlike a common enemy that can live somewhere. So where can they go? They have nowhere to go because, yeah, so that's, but weak-minded, I have been reduced to making no effort because I can't even see this very simple fact. I'm weak-minded and I have not even made effort. So he's saying we need to apply effort to be able to see this truth.
Yeah, this but weak mind, I have been reduced to making no effort, means like right now our all these samsaric beings mind is like that. That they don't recognize emotions and actually not really powerful. Because our mind is so weak, wisdom is so weak. If you really fight with the emotion, you can win. You don't have to use any other things, like you only use wisdom to fight. And then wisdom, so I or wisdom and despair from my mind, then emotions despair from your mind. Your minds become pure. Their emotions, no any place located, no any place to go, is despaired, just gone. So that means like root cut. Wisdom cutting is root. Okay, next, Navi Nati, please can you read 47?
Yes, if the 47, if these disturbing conceptions do not exist within the objects, the sense organs, between the two nor elsewhere, then where do they exist and how do they harm the world? They are like an illusion. Thus I should dispel the fear within my heart and strive resolutely for wisdom. For no real reason, why should I suffer so much in hell? I think it's saying that emotions are like an illusion and they don't really exist. We need to use wisdom.
So wisdom, and we use the effort, right? Strive, resoluted for wisdom. Put effort.
And we need to look to ourselves, look to myself. Question myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so good. Anyone have any comment that everyone understand?
Did you mention that this would be a time for analytical, this is kind of like an analytical meditation to Kempo, where we would examine the
Exactly, yes. Part of analytical, you examine. This all is examining actually. This all is analytical meditation, everything. We examine emotion. Emotions not exist outer level, inner level, and any organs not exist. Emotion is the same as a delusion. So you recognize that and release emotions, you are free from fears. Dispel the fear within my heart. So that's the reason we have to put effort, use wisdom. Actually, these emotions no reason to put we are in the hell realms because they are no exist. Even they are no existed, but they put we are in the hell realms. That is wrong. Okay, so no 48.
Can I ask something?
Yep.
So the dispel the fear, is that referring to the fear of letting go of self-cherishing?
So dispel the fear within my heart is you recognize the emotions no exist, then release fears.
Fear of what?
Fear like anything, any kind of fear. So you have anger, and then anger at the same time have fear, because the wise anger is have fear. Anger is not exist, emotions not exist, fear also not exist. Fear also gone, right? Okay, so Thomas, can you explain more this one?
Well, the six senses that we have, that we are so attached to, that create all the desires and the fears that come from the unknown, the fears that we have of everyday life, all these negative emotions compound to that. I mean, they add to that fear, and they make something small really big. And And everyday life, there's some type of fear involved, but by recognizing these negative emotions don't really exist, they're an illusion. They're not real. They are created because of our sense organs, and by recognizing that and letting go of their attachments to that, we have a better understanding of using wisdom and effort, and not to suffer in hell.
Okay, anyone have a question? That's good, Thomas, thanks.
You're welcome, Kevin.
The fear is like, see, emotion, that's why we have fears. Emotions gone, then fear also can be released. That's the reason we have to put effort, strive resolutely for wisdom, for no rare reason. Why should I suffer so much in here? Why we so much fear? Why so much we are suffering? The no reasons, actually emotions no exist. If a snake is no exist in your home, so you think you have a snake there, you have fears, you have a scared, also same time anger to the snake, but then actually you don't have to fear, you don't have to anger, because the snake is no exist in your home. Why snake put you so much hard? Snake is no exist in your home. So or it's like just deluded. Next is David, please can you read the next one?
48.
48, yes.
Therefore, having thought about this well, I should try to put these precepts into practice just as they have been explained. If the doctor's instructions are ignored, how will a patient in need of cure be healed by his medicine? What is said here is that everything that have been taught to us, so we learn, we have to practice diligent and with a lot of effort every day, every moment, every second. That's the reason that have been explained to us how to use Dharma. If we don't use it, we lose it. And it's like a doctor. We go ill, we request help, but we don't follow the instruction, we don't going to get well. The most important thing is just practice and perform the Dharma practice every day, every moment, every second.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Kepo.
Thank you. So that is like, I think is the easiest one. So we know, so we have experience. We don't follow the doctor's advice. Not possible to hear. Okay, so next is a chapter change, alertness. Naomi, can you read chapter 5, first verses?
Sorry, I'm always driving right now.
Oh, where are you going? You're going somewhere?
Yeah, I'm counting Americans for the census. So then I drive home around now. Yeah.
No, next.
It's very yeah.
So, okay, Jinping, so please.
Those who wish to guard their practice should very attentively guard their minds. For those who do not guard their minds will be unable to guard their practice. So, this is the main point that summarizes the whole chapter. That you have to, it all comes to guarding your mind. If you want to develop bodhicitta, you can't do it without guarding your mind.
Good. Yeah, so we have to guard the mind, right? Mind is most important. If we don't take care of our mind, then whatever you're doing is not really effective. So then, two, Mary, please.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. In this world, unsubdued and crazed elephants are incapable of causing such harms as the miseries of the deepest hell, which can be caused by the unleashed elephant of the mind. So they're saying that no matter what kind of a crazy elephant does, tears up the whole place, it's nothing compared to the hells that the elephant of your wild mind can create for you. And that's why you need to keep your mind under control so that it doesn't put you into hell.
Great. Thank you. Marilyn, please. 3 verses 3.
Tigers, lions, elephants.
3 verses 3.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, sorry. Saw elephants in both. But if the elephant of my mind is firmly bound on all sides by the rope of mindfulness, all fears will cease to exist and all virtues will come into my hand. So if you train your mind, then you won't have any fears. You'll be brave. You'll be a bodhisattva and be virtuous.
Okay, so great. Anyone has any comment? These two is very similar. Mary read and Marilyn read is same, right? And K. Jimpin so read, or it's like just different ways explain for taking care of our mind. Use alertness. So what we need most important to taking care of your mind? Everyone mute, how come?
Mindful awareness. Watch our mind all the time.
So rope helps for what, Marilyn?
What helps?
Rope, R-O-P-E.
Rope, like?
Rope, what are going to do the rope?
Oh, it's going to hold your mind together, I would think.
Okay, rope can hold the mind.
Well, it's not a real rope.
This is a rope.
It's not a real rope. It's like holding it tightly together, watching it. Don't let it go away. So if you tie your mind with the rope, it's not going to follow the thoughts and get in trouble.
Okay, so anyone except like rope can tie the mind.
I think that is for the elephant.
So you have to tie the elephant or your mind, Marilyn.
Well, you're being difficult. You have to keep hold of your mind. It's so that it doesn't run off like a crazy elephant. Because if you don't hold it tight, then it's going to run all over the place and cause all kinds of problems. But if you tie it down and watch it.
So right, rope take down the elephant or rope take down the mind?
It stops your mind from running away like an elephant.
Anyone can accept like rope can tie to mind.
Yeah, that's, I think we're talking about maintaining focus. The rope, that's maintaining focus so your mind doesn't wander. Keep what you're doing.
Yes.
Maintain what you are doing. Don't let, focus. Don't let your mind go somewhere else.
Okay, so elephant mind is the same or different?
Well, elephant mind, like
The elephant and the mind is the same or different?
well, the it's
At least elephant mind, yes.
It's the same, right?
yeah, it's the same. I guess.
The same is how can be used example.
Oh, you're really giving me a hard time.
Elephant example, mind is like.
The elephant's an example of a crazy mind, right? Like it's.
They cannot be same, right? If it's the same, then you cannot use example.
Elephant.
Doesn't it depend on how much you feed your mind, how big it is?
I think elephant of my mind means very stable.
What is?
Calm.
And then give answer. Don't give answer the same is like we say it's a shape is go into the focus. Shape go to the focus. They really don't see, but they just goes.
Does the rope mean the same thing as mindfulness? Does the rope mean this very same thing as mindfulness? It's equal to mindfulness, being mindful.
Rope is mindfulness or rope is mindful is a rope. So they are same or different.
Well, they're saying your mind is the elephant, and you tie it with a rope so it doesn't run crazy.
Oh, mind cannot be elephant because it's our mind. How can be elephant? Elephant is elephant. Our mind is mind.
Elephant is like the disturbing conception, disturbing emotion.
Yeah, that's how I started. Now I'm going in. I'm in samsara.
I think the elephant.
Please,
Elephants because they're strong and powerful, and if we let our thoughts escape and get a head of steam, they're almost unstoppable, like an elephant is if it starts to run down the road in a crazed manner. So I think the rope is our practice and our mindfulness and our awareness that says, oh, this is an emotion, I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to run off down the road like a mad elephant, unstoppable. So it's like we bring our mindfulness and our awareness and we check what's going on with our feelings and emotions as they arise, and we recognize them, and we don't follow into the story with them and run off like a mad elephant, unstoppable. That's the way I kind of hear that. And those stories about it doesn't have to be a super strong rope to stop an elephant. If you've been training them from baby elephants all the way up, it's just a really small tether that'll keep you on track. And so that's our practice, right? If we practice a lot, then we don't need to have a great big massive thick rope to hold our thoughts in check or to get lost in them. We only need this really thin presence of our awareness to go recognize, oh, that's a thought, that's a story, and come back. That's kind of how I see that, yeah.
Okay, so Amanda, can you explain?
I was just thinking that was a beautiful explanation, Gordon. I clearly am not a philosopher, Kimpola. I thought it was a metaphor that the crazy elephant was our mind when we follow the emotions, and that the rope is our mindful alertness. So there's really no elephant, there's no rope, but we have mindful alertness that helps us realize the truth and realize when we're erring from the truth.
Okay, so everyone agreed?
Are you getting at using the mind to see the mind? Is that what you're getting at?
No, we're talking about elephant and the mind and the rope.
Elephants and ropes, okay.
So rope is the example, right? Rope is the example.
Yes. Yeah.
So alertness is mindful is the main point. The elephant is example is our mind is the main point. So they have two things going on, right? So you have crazy elephant, you need a rope and a tight elephant, not going to destroy. Otherwise, crazy elephant destroy whatever in the object, everything. So same thing, we have a crazy mind. We need mindful. Watch carefully. Mindful, tight our mind. Not let do whatever mind crazy want.
I thought that's what I was trying to say.
So you're saying it's an example and the main is the same, so that's the problem. The elephant and the rope is example, right? Example shows like for what? Meaning, right? Meaning. So our mind and the mindful is meaning. So main point like our mind is crazy, so use the mindful, tight up mind. That's it. So you think you did it correctly, Marilyn?
In my mind, I think I did say
Okay,
correctly.
that's great.
In my mind, I think you were making me work with mindfulness.
Okay, so we need mindful. See the rope of mindfulness. Rope is a rope, but rope is example. Meaning is mindfulness. All fears, then all fears go away. Okay, so number 4. Avira, please, number 4. Do you have sadhana?
Yes, Tempo. I'll read 4 and 5 because they go together, I think.
Okay.
Tigers, lions, elephants, bears, snakes, and all forms of enemies, the guardians of the whole world, evil spirits and cannibals, will all be bound by binding my mind alone, and will all be subdued by subduing my mind alone. I guess this means that since everything is kind of created by mind, everything arises from the same place. If I control my mind, I will not see enemies. I will not see, bad. It will be different. But I didn't take the class this morning, so that's my interpretation.
Okay, tigers, lions, elephants is the same as your mind or different?
No, it's different. I guess it's examples of dangerous things. It's different. It's just given as an example of dangerous things.
You subdue the tiger, lion, elephant, then you're free from fear?
What I have to subdue is my mind, I think, and I will be free from fear.
Okay, not subdue the elephant, tigers, right?
No.
So that's see, this worldly people does not subdue the mind. They subdue the elephant and the tigers. bears, snakes means like we're fighting with other enemies.
Mm-hmm. And if I subdue one of them, it's one of them I'm not afraid of, but I will be afraid of any other tigers because I just subdued this one. You know, while when I subdue my mind, I don't have to have fear for anything.
Okay. So worldly, we subdued all these danger objects. That's the worldly people does. Practitioners subdued the mind, then subdued all the world. Same.
Exactly.
If subdued the object, tiger, lion, snake is endless. Never to finish, never end. Never end your fear. Subdued mind, then free from fears. Their tigers, their lions, our enemies, their world problems there. You already correct. You no suffering there. Okay, that's good, Avura.
Thank you, Temple.
So next is 6. Thomas, please, 6.
The perfect teacher himself has shown that in this way all fears, as well as all boundless miseries, originate from the mind. The Buddha taught that everything all comes from our mind.
Right.
Positive, negative, good, bad, right, wrong. Subdue our mind. In the course of a day, our mind puts us in heaven and hell 100 times. Just how we think. Good, bad, right, wrong. It's endless. Endless. And boundless.
Okay, so then we finish it there. Anyone has a question on the last one? Everyone okay, right? That last one is easy. Simple one, right? Just Buddha said, all this negative is arise from the mind. Subdue your mind, you are free from fears. Good. So we'll have discussion. Anyone has a question, so you can discussion, and then if not, we can do dedication. Everyone okay, yeah? Make sense to the teaching or not?
Great teaching today.
Or this word make sense? Shanti Deva, what he talked?
Yes. Oh,
Very
Yeah.
good.
Each word is very powerful. Use
The
and
elephants.
recognize what we did, mistakes, problems, beginning last time until now. So this emotion is actually nothing powerful, but actually they controlled us for some reasons. We don't know why.
This is a nice process. I like the way we're doing this. Very beneficial.
Yeah, it's very good. Actually, I like to share this teaching. It's very happy to do share. Like it's so beautiful.
You know,
Then-
we're lucky we go through every verse because most of the time, nobody has time to do that.
Yeah, that's the good things. Coronavirus. This give for opportunity for us.
See, Kempo, we're creating a positive with a negative.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. We're doing the follow the Shanti Deva's instruction, Buddha's instruction. We no loser. The first this coronavirus comes, then we are suffering, sad, and more suffering. So we use this chance, coronavirus is more practice, study, and we are overcome to the coronavirus.
Yes, and we're doing all we want to do. Even Kempo is teaching Shantideva like he wanted to, right, Kempo?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have a question about the last verse in chapter 4. Just about your commentary. I just want to make sure I understand what you said about, because we're studying this text, we're on the 3rd level. That means we need to take the medicine. That means we have to habituate practicing. Is that what you mean?
So yeah, I have to practice. If not only the enough lesson and teaching, without practice. So this morning I put 3 different reasons, there are 3 levels. Do you remember?
Yes, the first one is just people, they don't know that they're sick.
Yeah, they
and
don't.
The second one,
people that don't know they're suffering.
You don't know they're suffering. And the second one, they don't want to hear the doctor's advice.
They don't want to hear anything. Even their fears they're sick, but they don't want to hear.
Right. So like for instance, you might take intoxicants. That might be like the second level. Just forget about everything.
Yeah, forget. They don't want
And
to
then
hear.
the third level is people who have this opportunity to study text, but we need to take the medicine. It doesn't mean it's enough. What we're doing is enough.
Exactly.
Is that what you mean?
So we are more open-minded. We see already doctor.
Right.
So doctor give medicine instructions, but no, it's like our choice. We do or not. If patients don't do, they see that cannot recover. So if we don't practice it, that means like we cannot free from samsara.
So you have to habituate your practice, but you also have to be wise, because every antidote doesn't work.
Yes, so
for
we
every
listening, teaching, contemplate, meditation.
Yeah.
That's the reason we have these prayers. Like one prayer in the Jigten Sunggung, like when every day we chant, end of the last one. So there's a talk about this contemplate, meditation until end of samsara, something like that, right?
Study, practice, contemplate, meditate.
Yes. Thank you. So Marilyn, can you polling our prayer? Amanda, please, can you read the prayer?
Yes, Kimpola, thank you. English?
Tibetan.
Tibetan, okay.
Yes.
Emaho notsar sangye nangwa taye dang yesu jawo tukje chimpodang Yondu simpa chuchintob nama sangye rang simpak me korgi kor Deki notsar baktu me payi Dewa chinse jawe zinkamder Dagzin dinit sepo girmata Kewa zingi barma chirparu Deru kene nante zetong sho Deke dagi mulam tapadi Chokchoi sangye changsim tam cheki Kegme drupar jinje laptu so Teyata Pinsatriya Wabodanaya Soha Jangchub Sinchok Rinpoche Make Panam Kegyorche Kepanyam Pami Paryam Gongne Gumdu Pewarsho Sonamdi tamche zikpani, topne ne pedra nam pamchete, Keka na chi balong tropai, si pezzo le droar sho. Champal pao jitar kin padang, kunto sangpo deyang dezinte, deda kun ge jesu da glob jing, kewa di dak tamche rap tu no. Sheja kunzi kun kien jo ki je, tindrel nila wang top dri kung pa, rinchin pagi tin pa si te bar. Shedrup to sangum peds and curche.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Yes. Thank you, Kempo.
Oh, thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Kempo.
Thank you.
Good night.
Everyone, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Everyone.
Bye.
Mira.